Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Tao Manifesting Tarot, the most unusual tarot reading maybe in the world. Maybe in the world, because we come at this whole discussion of tarot from an entirely different point of view. First of all, we take a look at tarot as our kryptonite, as human beings' kryptonite. Gives us an opportunity, when we use it properly, to really recreate or redirect our lives with what we think inside of our own imagination, what we feel in our heart, what we feel in our spirit. Not the stuff that you get from a computer, desktop, laptop, smartphone, not even artificial intelligence. Using those things kills our creativity. So here at the Tao Manifesting Tarot readings, there's no rainbows, no unicorns, no fantasy. We focus on the human kryptonite manifesting. That's the key, that's the important part, that's the thing that we focus on. For a moment, though, let me bother you and tell you I have decided, because I'm not really good with following emails. So I came up with a special email for this tarot reading. It's tao-tarot@proton.me. tao-tarot@proton.me. I will do my best to check in every day and to respond in some way on a very common kind of a basis. That is to say, at this point it's kind of hit or miss, more miss than hit. So I'm trying to fix that. I've picked up some stuff from you people off of Facebook and other LinkedIn and other such sites, and I found it fascinating enough, interesting enough, intriguing enough that I said, okay, let me simplify the process. tao-tarot@proton.me, and I'll try to stay on top of it and respond to you as quickly as I possibly can, because I am not that good at it. So returning now back to the Tao Manifesting Tarot reading, we have some really fascinating things to cover today, because the idea, the theme is the no return plan. Exchanging gifts. Now, when I say exchanging gifts, you think, oh, well, that's great. You do that at your birthdays, or certainly at Christmas, the holidays, that kind of thing. People do that very commonly. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the no return plan. You don't want to go back. You want to move forward. That's the theme. And that means you exchange the stuff that you've used, that you believed, for new stuff. Oh, by the way, another reason why the Tao Manifesting Tarot reading is unusual, I use 3-card tarot with astrology and numerology. 20 years doing tarot, I discovered that tarot for me doesn't predict a damn thing, but it is the science of potential, your potential. And I add in astrology and numerology because I've been doing them for 50 years, and they're the science of cycles. So we combine tarot, science of potential, with numerology, astrology, the science of cycles, and you get something that's really kind of fun. So the idea is to find the energetic cycle, use the tarot to tap into it, connect with the feeling, and then act on it. Kind of like setting the table, which is the numerology, astrology, and then the tarot, which is the meal itself. So let's begin with your Tao Manifested Tarot reading. We're going to start with a little bit of astrology, something that I call astrologic. For the past couple of weeks or so, I started on a project that I think will continue until next summer. And the reason I'm doing it is because next summer is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence here in the United States of America, if we make it that far. And I got to be honest with you, with what's happening in the news, I'm not sure that we haven't already lost that republic that we started almost 250 years ago. But in any event, I decided as part of that, what I would do is take this astrologic part, give you something additionally to think of, using astrology, tying in what happened back in the past in our country with what's going on today. For example, 1804, in the conquest of America, the Lewis and Clark expedition begins. We were going out west. We just got the Louisiana Purchase from the French, who stole it from the Indians. Doesn't make any difference. We didn't deal with the Native Americans anyway. They were unimportant. It was the bankers who told us what was important. And they said, hey, we got all this new land. Let's go and cross the country, or at least half of it. And let's see what's out there. Let's see what we got. So 1804, the Lewis and Clark expedition begins. A couple of years later, it wraps up. 1806, America builds its first national road. Goes from Maryland to Ohio. Kind of nifty. And then in 1807, Congress stops the importation of slaves into America. No port, no nothing. You keep them out. Now, the reason I chose these three stories or three ideas from three different years is because, first of all, the astrology was essentially the same. Saturn and Uranus together. That's called conjunct. They were sitting on top of one another in Libra. So there was an element of fairness, of balance, beauty maybe. And so let's see how those three dates kind of match up with what's going on today, because I said that with astrology, history repeats. So we go to 1804, Lewis and Clark expedition begins. What's going on in Canada? The four western provinces are very seriously considering becoming states here in the United States of America. They better be careful, because I'm seeing stuff on a daily basis almost already that you pay attention to what's going on in Washington, it ain't a whole lot better than what they have in Canada. A little sneakier, but we're headed in that same direction. The latest thing scares me is the militarization of police in Washington, D.C., because Trump says things are so dangerous. They're dangerous in every big city. The thing that bothers me is that you're putting the military on the streets. And if you've paid attention, certainly to the last 4 or 5 years, when they tell you one thing, you know you're not getting the whole story. This is simply the first step. So, okay, it's Washington, D.C., and it's not a state, but the president has control over it. He says it's unsafe, it's dirty, it's filthy, got people in the streets, we don't like it, we're going to bring in the military. Well, first of all, what are you going to do with the people that are in the streets? I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, crime is rampant, but you go to every big city, people are nuts. So is this going to be the excuse for putting military in our cities? You can't say no. They've done this with the vaccine. Hey, only 2 weeks, it'll be done. It'll be great. It's safe and effective. None of that was true. Very concerned about that. Second date, 1806, America's first national road. We have infrastructure issues all over the country. We're not spending a damn penny for fixing up our roads and our bridges and all that other stuff, the infrastructure stuff. Now, we don't have time for that. But we can put more money into Israel. We can put more money into Ukraine. We can make up any kind of money. We can just print it, which, of course, makes your money less valuable. Well, they don't care about that. They want you poor. They said you're going to have nothing and be happy anyway. So we have infrastructure issues. So that kind of reflects what happened in 1806 when we built the first national road here in America. And the final issue, 1807, Congress stops importation of slaves into America. Shut it all down. You couldn't sneak them into the country at all. Now, what does that do? That mirrors our immigrant disaster. So this is how the energies repeat, but they're different in their application each time that they show up. And that tends to really kind of throw people a little bit, because they sometimes have a tough time making the connection, but you shouldn't. Lewis and Clark says we're going to take a look at an expanded America. We got Canadian provinces thinking of joining us. 1806, America's first national road. Infrastructure problems all over the country. There's not a place that doesn't have those kinds of issues, and nobody's putting any money into it. It's not for war. We don't care. And the final, Congress says no more slaves. You can't import any of that. Well, we got the migrant issue. So you see how this stuff all matches. And the key for me is the Saturn-Uranus in late Libra. It's kind of the velvet glove over the iron fist. And that's really, I think, the kind of energy that we're running into these days. At least it feels that way for me. There's no question about it. So let's move on to the meme for today. Something to get you thinking in a little different direction. Not walking in the woods, which of course they're doing a lot in Canada and maybe even a little bit here in the United States. Not allowing people to walk in the woods is a way to prevent forest fires. That is the new put on your mask in a restaurant. That's COVID mentality again. They're telling you, you can't go here, you can't go here. They give you this bullshit reason when satellite photos show that these fires, not only in California, but out in the West, in Canada, many were started individually by the tens, if not hundreds. But you are going to have to put on that mask. You are going to have to stay out of the woods. Because the idea is to control you, not really to address the problem. Missing link for today. You know, if people can go to prison for lying to Congress, then shouldn't members of Congress go to prison for lying to the constituents, the people, the voters? Yeah, it kind of hits me as being a pretty good idea as well. There's a little bit of a rhythm to that concept. So let's move into the tarot. Let's get to it. King of Swords. That's the first card. King of Swords talks about being ethical, unbiased, getting the information, true information, not bullshit PR crap, but the truth. Not the stuff that they make commercials and advertisements out of, but the truth. That's what the King of Swords is saying. Be ethical, be unbiased. Let the truth set you free. That's going to be a handful these days because it's being locked down every way they can do it. Next card is the World card. Very often people take this idea as being, oh, well, geez, this is great because that means new times. Well, it does mean new times. It means completion. But it doesn't mean better. It just means moving on in the cycle. So if you start with the King of Swords saying, I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Well, you're going to have to get to do that point. You're going to have to be able to learn how to handle it. Most people still don't have the balls to do it. But if you get 20, 30% of Americans who decide, hey, I want the truth, we can make the difference. We can change the world. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be quick. But it's going to be very, very effective. And frankly, at this point, we only have a couple of years left. I think between 2027 and 2030, the shit's going to hit the fan. You can see it. You can feel it right now if you're paying any kind of attention at all. And if you still have your head up your ass, then you deserve whatever happens to you. You deserve whatever happens to you because you are being negligent. You are not searching for the truth. You're not being mature. You're not being adult. You're a coward. Final card is the Three of Wands. I love this card. The reason I love this card is because this is a distant vision. Give me the truth so I can change the world so it's better, not just for me, but for everybody. It's fair. It's honest. That's the world that I see. That's the Three of Wands. Positivity, gratefulness, hope. Being plugged in, actually plugged in and charged up by a very good life. Perfect life? No. But a very good life? Yes. Maintaining your integrity, your independence, your humanity. Those are the goals. You begin with the truth. You begin with that truth and begin to change and move things in a direction so we can have a better world for all. Because remember, if we don't all have a better world, nobody's going to have a better world. Time's up. We're done. Thank you so much for your time, attention, and being here. I look forward to it every day. You know that. I love you guys. And I'm going to try to pay attention to the email stuff. I got an old dog has to learn new tricks, that's for sure. Please help me out, though. Like and subscribe. There is a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that you're not aware of. And it is affecting virtually every podcaster. So please like and subscribe. Keep these podcasts alive because it's keeping your world a better place. Something the deep state doesn't appreciate. So between now and the next time you and I get together to do tarot, peace and blessings.